Alright, I'm going to do a quick video, show you how I make the vertical bezels and marquees for my vertical cabinet and the lay files as well. What I've already done is I've already made a lay file templates for a vertical, a horizontal, and then a dual screen, say like punch out and super punch out. And I've also made graphic templates for vertical, horizontal, and a Neo Geo one as well. And that's for to open in Photoshop or GIMP or everything like that. Also, in the description should be a link to a file, a RAR file that has everything I've already made and all these files in it, and whatever else you're going to need to get this working properly in Mame. This is for PC Mame only as well. In the top, you'll see files to make bezels. Inside of there are these 6 files here. And then also going to be a vertical INI and a horizontal INI file. Now those 2 files you'll have to take and put into your main INI folder. So in your main folder, and then INI, drop those 2 in there, the vert and the horizont. And that is these 2 guys right here. Just drop those in there and everything should start working. Let's see if I can't focus this a little better. Let's see how that works. So what we're going to do is kind of get started, and we'll run you through how I've been making these and what I do to get them to work. We're going to make a Galaga one and a Defender one. Now I'm going to tell you where to get these the image files, because they are everywhere. Just Google search or whatever to find them. I'm going to show you Mame here. I do not have currently a Galaga one in here or a Defender. What it does have is the default ones that I made. So if there's a ROM that doesn't have an image, it's going to have this default one here. Let me rotate it so you can see a little. So that's the small, which is small screen, and then a large, which will take up almost all of the screen, and then the marquee up here on the top. So let's go back. So as you can see, there's no Galaga image. So what we're going to do is make one real quick. Let's see. So first thing I'm going to do is I know that the ROM for Galaga is named actually Galaga. I've got these opened already. And what they are is just 3 separate layers. Your large, your small, and then I've got a layer here to tell you what to scale your marquee image to. So the first thing I'm going to do is, if you go to File, Open as Layers, and bring in your Galaga marquee image. Now it's going to be sized, differently and incorrectly. Make sure you got it up at the very top. You want it on the top. And then what I want to do is I want to scale this layer to this dimension. It's 1080 by 338. So I'm going to go Layer, Scale Layer. I want to unlock it as well because they're not going to be the same. So 1080, and then down here to 338. Scale. Now drag this guy up here. And get rid of the words. We'll zoom in a little bit. Make sure I'm lined up. So there we go. There's that. Zoom out. So now my marquee's in place. That was easy enough. And honestly, if you just want to do the large version, you are done. Just hide the small, do large, and that's it. But seeing how we're going to do the small one, because during the vertical games I like the small image better. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open his layers again, and this is going to be our bezel image. Now it's a really big size file, so you're not going to see it. This image here is scaled to 1080 by 1920. So what I'm going to do is I want it on the very bottom, and then I need to scale it as well. So I'm going to scale it down. This time I do want it locked, And I'm going to scale it to my width on this image is, which is 1080. Alright, so now we see it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it down here. And now, see, I still got all this space where it didn't keep up. So I'm going to scale it again. This time I'm going to unlock it, and then all I'm going to do for this is just kind of drag it down and fill up my void, so to speak. So that should be, let's zoom in, make sure I'm covering all ends. Oh, I'm not here. So let's just fix that. And I'm good there. I'm good at the top, and I'm good at the bottom. So I'm going to zoom back out. So now my bezel's on, but the problem is I've still got all this screen. So I'm going to take my rectangle selection. I'm going to select this whole area, which is where the screen is, inside the bezel area, and make sure I'm on my bezel layer. Delete it. Now my screen is viewable. So that's it. That is how easy it is to make the vertical bezels in Marquee. Alright, so now it is made. What we're going to do is we need to export it as a PNG file. Export as. And now here you need to name it the same as what your ROM is. So this is Galaga, and it is luckily Galaga, like Donkey Kong is D-Kong. So I'm just going to go Galaga, and this is small, S-M-A-L-L, because this is the small screen one. So I'm going to export that. Now that one's done. So next, I'm going to do the large one. So hide all those layers that we just did. And then we still got our Marquee, and then the large. And we're going to export that one to Galaga. But of course, large. And then that takes care of that. So that now, we have our two images. We have our small and our large bezel and Marquee. Now what we need to do is make the lay file. So create a new folder. Name it the same as the ROM. Galaga. Now, I know it's a vertical game, so I'm going to make a copy of this vertical lay file right here. Because I don't want to delete it or change it or do anything to it. I'm going to paste it in this Galaga folder. It also needs to be the same name as the ROM. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of cheat and copy this because I'm going to need it inside of here. Now inside of here I've already done all the math and the scaling and measuring and all that mess. The only thing you'll have to do is there's going to be some asterisks here and an asterisk here. All you need to do is replace those asterisks with the ROM name. So we got Galaga here, and that gives us our Galaga small image that we created. And then I'm going to go here, paste again. That gives us our Galaga large image we've created. Close it. Save it. Done. Now, take all three of these. Go back to your main folder, your artwork. You're going to take all these three, drop them in the artwork folder. Close it out. Now when we go into play Galaga, you will see we have our image with the Marquee and the bezel. And then just show you the large as well. And that's it. And that is how you create the easy Marquee and bezels. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to do the ones for the horizontal games. I'll show you, we'll do a Defender. I'll show you I don't have one for Defender. That's the default one that I made. So let's exit out of that. And then what we're going to do is the exact same way we did the Galaga one. I'm just going to close this guy out. Now, when you close these out, discard changes. Don't save it. Don't overwrite your template. So now on the horizontal ones, things are going to be a little bit different. This red area is where your screen is. This is where the game is going to be played. These transparent-ish spots are where your images and that kind of thing is going to be. So you do the same thing here. Oh, also before I forget, on this one I do also have the dual screen images layer as well. But I think I've already made all those. Punch out, super punch out, arm wrestling. If there's more, then you can make them, or I'll make them at some point. So you're going to kind of do the same thing here. You're going to open as layers. We're going to put our marquee on first. Let's hide this. So now I'm going to scale that to my size up there, which is 1080 by 349. I also want to say that I'm well aware there's probably 9 million ways to do this, and probably 8.5 million of them are easier than the way I do it. This just seems to work for me, and I just don't have a problem doing it this way. So why change it for me? So here's the marquee. Now we're going to throw in the background. Let's see. Now here you can do different things. You can either try to find the actual bezel and put on here and just use some of it, which is kind of what I'm going to do here. Or you can just create your own images like I did on, let's see, Mortal Kombat 3 and a couple other ones that I'll show you as well. So what I'm going to do again is open layers. Now this is the actual Defender bezel. And once again, it's scaled really large. So I'm going to scale the layer again to the width, which is 1080. Alright, so now I can actually see it and I got something to work with. Problem is, as you can tell, it is a lot larger. Uh-oh, focus, come on. Let's see if I can get to focus now. Alright, let's see if that helps. So it's a lot smaller than what I need here. So what I'm going to do is I'm only going to really want the bottom and the top of this guy. So I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to cut it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to repaste it back on, and I'm going to create it as a layer, its own layer. So now I've got my own layer for just the bottom piece. So I'm going to bring it down. Let's open this up so I can kind of see where it's supposed to be. So it's supposed to be right in here somewhere. I'm trying to use a trackball, so it's a little blah. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is kind of the same thing I did on the Galaga. I'm just going to scale it up to where it just covers up everything. And then I'm going to select this layer again. And I'm going to kind of do the same thing, except this I'm going to do a little different because I only want this much of it. So I'm going to crop that layer to just that. And then let's move it up some. Bring this back in so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, wrong one. Bring this guy back here. And then I'm going to kind of scale it down. That covers up all my blank space. Oh, there's a little some up top I didn't do. There we go. So that should cover up all the blank space. Now the problem is I'm overhanging where my screen is going to be on some of these. So why this comes back to where the red is. I make sure over here that I'm selecting my horizontal large image. Then I'm going to go here to my little fuzzy select tool and just select the red. Then you can go delete, select the layer up top, or that's the bottom one, delete, top, delete, and that's it. Now that's my Defender image. So I go do the same thing, export as. And this ROM is the Defender, and it's large. Yep, if I can spell ARGE. So there's my Defender large image. Now we're only going to do one because that's the only one I make in the horizontal. Then you do the same thing. Create you a new folder, Defender, or whatever your ROM is that you're doing. Copy the horizontal one. Put it in here. Then you're going to name it to Defender. Oh, really? Copy that. Go into here. Now there's only one place you need to put it. Right here. Defender. So now I got my Defender large image. Everything's already done. Save. Then, just like we did before, take these two, dump them into your artwork folder. Now we go into Mame and go into Defender. We should have our marquee and bezel. And there it is. Rotate it. So yeah, fills up the whole screen and looks good. So now let's show you guys how this looks on the actual cabinet, and yeah, see what it looks like. All right, so here is the Xtension Alpha-cade Vertical. This is actually the prototype, so it's going to be a little different, and I've put a red LED bar in it, and because well, that's the thing that I do. So anyway, this will show you what is going on and what it looks like when this thing is running. I'm running big box front end, and this is the Vertigo theme. I think it looks great. It's perfect for this. It was of course made for it. So let's show you a couple things. Let's see. Let's go up and show you, do the Galaga one that we just did, right? So here's Galaga. Now I've got Galaga set to the small. Mute it. So here it is on the full-size screen. Not bad. And then I'll show you what it looks like when you're in full. I got Frogger set to the large. This computer's really slow, so it's my test box. So this is the large screen. So when you're sitting here, it's pretty big. And let me show you real quickly a 4:3 aspect. Let's do the Mortal Kombat's. Wherever they are. There we go. I'll show you the Mortal Kombat 3 one. And there you go. There's the 4:3 aspect. The custom bezel and marquee. So that's pretty simple. If you got any questions, just leave it in the comments. And like I said, I want to try to update that Dropbox as much as I can. But have fun.